to save the world. The New Testament, he came to save the world, but he came to save the world in a way that it will be saved in the future. So when he came, he wasn't. It is said that he saved it immediately, that he died for the sins, but still, the 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 proving of it, the receiving of the saving, the gift, the salvation, still does not come until your future life, until you die, and even still then, it still won't happen then immediately when you die. It's still supposed to be at some time period later when he comes after you are dead. So all the Christians who have died and non-Christians who have died, in the past up to this point, they're dead in the ground and their soul is wherever, but they're still waiting for the return of Jesus to arise. Or when you die, do you might go to heaven? Because somebody explain to me, when you die now, do you go to heaven now? Because you're still waiting for Jesus to return to create heaven and earth, and then the people will be taken away to go to heaven. Um, Somebody's explaining, exactly how the rapture stuff is supposed to work, and I know that's a debate amongst Christians, all the different Christian sects and whatnot. But I hope you can see what I'm saying to make the point that it's still, Bible, you're still waiting for something that's supposed to be happening now, but you still don't get into the future. So it's still something that isn't really proven. You know, for me, the Old Testament says Savior's supposed to come. Then immediately when he comes, everything happens then. But right now, you have to still believe that he came. He did something that will benefit you still in the future instead of happening right now. Um, the best, the really only thing that you can take that applies to now is the wars and the rumors of wars. But that's been going on for hundreds and thousands of years. We've been fighting. So even that still, like I said, if I'm getting something that is supposed to be from God to instruct me, I'm supposed to believe in, it has to be out for me, and it's just me. It would have to be perfect. It would have to lay out everything right here, no debate, no this. It would have to say, Mustafa, this is exactly what's gonna happen in your life, and everything had to be accurate up to this point to make me. And then it would say, tell me what is gonna happen in the future, and everything will have to happen just like that. And speaking of that, one thing that I always found interesting is the fact that in Old Testament that the the plight of the Jew, uh, that it was not prophesied, the the Holocaust part, and really specific the Holocaust, because you can say, well, all the curse that's put on the Hebrews in the Old Testament, but the thing that I always found interesting is the fact that it didn't speak about them having numbers etched on their skin. Um, if I'm correct, I don't recall that, and it seemed like that was something that would be put in there, that it would say, that they will be taken, and numbers will be written on their skin or etched in their skin. The only mark that we get in the mark of the skin is the one for Jesus and the mark of the beast and whatnot. But I mean, that's something that seem like it'd be so important, and so telling that it would say that they're gonna be numbered like that. It does speak of the offspring of Abraham went up, numbering the stars, but that's totally different. That's just meaning, the generations. But it just seems like that's be something that's so telling. And then also, the Holocaust. It doesn't seem like it was really specifically spoken of. Once again, you can take, all the curses that were, in Old Testament, but it seems like the Holocaust is something that's separate, and it wasn't really spoken of, because really all it speaks of the diaspora and people taken, and the Hebrews taken away to another land. Um, there were Hebrews already in Germany, so they weren't taken to a different land, and they retreated. it doesn't match. I don't know. Somebody can explain it. It doesn't match. And to me, that's telling. Once again, I'm looking for perfection in the foretelling of things that happen. So anyway, and I'm gone off than what I was originally saying. So once again, when we're dealing with God, the aspect of God, and God's nature, God's will, the best way for me, the term that should always be used is, I guess, is God is. So that would mean that presently God is doing something. Um, God is bringing about heaven on earth. Now, even still, then we're still talking about something happens in the future, but we're talking about an act that is, excuse me, an act that is occurring now, working towards the future. And even still, okay, that limit's got in the way. But once again, what is the best way that we can interpret things? What is the best way that we can create this idea of God, this idea of of our religions? What is the best way we can create our ideologies and all that? What is the best way? Well, for me, right here in this instance, it's everyone saying, all people of religion saying that God is presently doing something. So for those Abrahamic religions, for Judaism, for Christianity, for Islam, who believe in a Messiah coming, a Savior coming, and the perfecting of the world. You should say that God is doing it now, and then you taking that within yourself and saying, well, what would that entail if God is working presently to bring about heaven on earth? And then moving forward, believing that, instead of sitting back waiting for something to happen and saying it's going to happen, that you can't do anything until it happens. Um, so believing, that heaven on earth is going to happen, God is working for it to happen. So we should work together right now because God is making it happen. God is making it happen. And I would say, well, so then you ask, well, what would that entail? For me, I would say, well, there's those three things. Congregating those three things that I've put forth to you before in the past. Congregating within your heart, mind, and soul. Uncompromising truth, unequal belief, and unconditional love. Bring those within your temple right here, this body, this church right here, this third church, the true church, the final church. And I'm saying that if you focus on those three things, if you take them within them and you make them part of you, part of your essence, part of your being, and you focus on them, you use your third eye for them, and you believe in them, like I said, and you concentrate on them, you pray on them, and use them to transform yourself within inside, that it will bring out that transformation will bring it without. And it makes it true that we are working on bringing heaven on earth. Bring heaven first to this earth, this body, this earth. Bring heaven here, within here, to bring it without. And it can be achieved. God is working within you. God is working within me. God bless everyone. Peace and love.